So since 2002, the Reporters Without Borders have released this list of the top 180 countries in the world and how they relate to like media and freedom and how much freedom the journalists have. So what do you think the United States is ranked at? Like off the top of your head, you'd think like...
I would think like among the top 50.
Like, right? You just have to think like
right.
Because like you said earlier, we're not going to be anywhere near places like North Korea or anywhere that's clearly bad. But there's a lot of countries that I think that would surprise people that are ranked above us. And it doesn't seem like it because, like, you know, the thing going on with Saudi Arabia where, like, they literally just killed journalists that, like, they don't agree with.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, we're not ranked, like, too high. Like, what is that percentage-wise? Like... What? Not top, what, 10?
Mm-mm.
Like, that's not good.
Where
like, you definitely think we're way higher than that.
I don't even see us.
Let's see.
Azerbaijan.
So, number 1 is Norway.
Yeah.
Number 2 is Sweden. 3 is Netherlands. 4 is Finland. 5 is Switzerland. 6 is Jamaica. 7 is Belgium. 8 is New Zealand. 9 is Denmark. 10 is Costa Rica. We are... Germany's number 15. Canada's number 18. We are number 45.
So I was right.
Romania's ahead of us. South Korea's ahead of us. Taiwan's ahead of us. The UK's ahead of us. Chile, fucking Lithuania, Czech Republic, all these places that, like, Spain's ahead of us.
South Africa.
Yeah, South Africa's ahead of us. Aren't these some places that you would just think, like, wow, like,
right.
That's just crazy. Like, I can't believe.
Jamaica.
I can't believe.
Oh, yeah, Jamaica.
That, like, because isn't that that's our whole shtick, right?
Yeah.
Press freedom. like that's our whole shtick.
Well,
like, it's amazing that we're just ranked so low.
But you know where North Korea is? 180.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
Egypt is 161.
Yeah, I mean, with all that scary stuff going on recently, right? I mean, Iran's... It's kind of crazy that Iran's only 164, right? Like, they got, like...
Yeah.
Bahrain, Yemen, Somalia. Saudi Arabia is 169. That's probably going to go up this year, right? To like, 179. But, yeah, like, it's just kind of eye-opening, like, how not free we are compared to, like, other places. And, like...
I want to go to these other places and find out what other freedoms they have.
Yeah, just like how different the media is there. And I'm sure, like, they still have their own fair share of problems, but, like...
I should have been married and lived in Sweden.
Should have just stayed. What was it like there? Like, off the top of your head, can you think of anything that makes, like, the culture different there?
I can think of a lot of things that make the culture different there. Like, people care about each other, number one. And their nationalism is just pure. You know what I mean? Like, I can't sit here and be like, I'm proud to be an American. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why? Oh, for what?
Yeah.
I didn't fight for this country. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't do anything to deserve this country, and neither did most of the other people that live here. We took this country from other people. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. But everything is based around... local, like, their economy is so great. It's great. They have local place. Everybody's buying from local bakeries and local
There's
shops.
a sense of community.
Exactly. And everybody knows each other.
Super interconnected.
And they all know their history. I couldn't tell you the history of New York, and I've lived here my whole life.
Yeah.
Except for when I lived in Sweden. I could tell you more about Sweden than I could New York.
I could tell you probably the history of, like, early New York, like the Amsterdam days.
Yeah, Amsterdam.
But right. Other than that,
colonies.
Other than that, yeah, I couldn't tell you much. I couldn't tell you about the past.
I couldn't tell you shit about this country other than what they taught us in school.
The past 100 years, like about the state. Yeah, you know what I mean.
There's no way.
That's crazy. How much bullshit we were actually taught in school, like just shit that was like just irrelevant now that like wouldn't even hold up, like. I remember being in 3rd grade and we had this nutritionist come in. I think her name's Helen Baptisti. I'm not sure of that, but Baptisti, I'm pretty sure is her last name. But, like, fucking just coming in and, like, teaching us about the food pyramid. And, like, you know, you have to have 8 servings of bread a day. You have to have, like, And then right above that was what, like steak, meat, and cheese.
Yeah.
And then above that,
yeah,
higher was like vegetables and like and
snacks,
fruit.
right?
Yeah, and then on the very top was like candy. Like they even put it there. They're like, you can just just fucking have a few of them, like fucking, and that's kind of ridiculous to me. But it opens my eyes to how much like somebody who has no idea what the fuck they're doing can advance so far in like a professional field, and a lot of times it's not their fault. Like,
God, yeah.
Like, you know, I mean, if anyone believed the food pyramid and they were nutritionists in like the early 2000s, like that was just the way it fucking went.
Right.
It would be like,
what is it now? What is it? The plate, right?
I don't know.
My plate.
I don't know honestly, but I'm sure it's color based, right? Like they want you to eat a bunch of different colors of like fruits and stuff, and like that's pretty much what it's based on. Like no grains, but like very little. Like
because this is a gluten free.
Yeah, not a carb. Yeah, definitely not a carb based diet like it was before. No. But like you're saying too, like earlier, that leads to like a lot of doctor visits and a lot of problems and like big pharma being tied to doctors and just having people have like on useless medications, and like sometimes their problems are very real and they need relief, and but like, you know, if you have a problem and say you need pain relief, you don't need to be on probably 15 different medications for that pain relief. There's probably one or two things that you could be on.
Holistic too, that they won't tell you about.
Yeah. But those aren't the companies they're probably tied to, and they probably get a lot of a lot of money and kickbacks for giving out.
My mom has been going to see this dietitian, right?
Uh-huh.
And she went once maybe. I think she scheduled the appointment to go the second time, but she literally at the time of the scheduling was like, "Don't forget to cancel this," because my mom's into like essential oils and all that stuff, and she's totally against big pharma, all that stuff. She won't smoke weed though, which is crazy. But whatever. And she was saying today that, like, she won't go back to this dietitian because she told the dietitian what she wanted. Like, this is how I want to do it. Like, I use oils, blah, blah, blah. And the doctor literally was like, no, I don't agree with that. Of course you don't agree with that because your fucking license, that's the reason you get paid unfathomable amounts of money for the actual work that you seem to be doing in these hospitals. Outside of surgery, you show up for 1 minute, you don't know anything about your fucking patients, and you just leave.
Yeah.
And like, oh, we're gonna write a script because that's how you make money. Yeah. I believe, I just talked about this today, that we live in a society where you have cancer. I have a client who has cancer. You have cancer, so we're gonna take radiation to kill the cancer and basically damage every other part of your body that touches.
You know, I agree with you. What? I agree with you on that point because, you know, in a lot of cases that probably is, like, if it's very, very severe and there's no other options, I can almost see where, like, that would be, like, a last resort type of thing. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people have, and you know, these therapies are coming along a little further. Well, I unplugged my mic like a dumbass, but these therapies are coming along a little further, like chemotherapy and like radiation therapy. Like, for example, now, Dr. Rhonda Patrick was talking about this on Joe Rogan a few years ago, where cancer cells, what they do is attack sugar. Immediately after you ingest sugar, they eat it first. They eat it before all of your cells. So now, the latest therapies, what you do is you take like essentially a candy bar and you coat the outer layers of it, and like the immediate things that are going to dissolve first in your gut, you take those high sugar concentrated areas and you put high levels of radiation in them in foods. Cancer attacks it, eats. After the cancer is done, quote unquote, eating, then your body gets the unradiated food. So it's almost like specifically just like dive bombing the fucking cancer. And like, I get what the point of radiation is. I get what it does. I get that this is the only option for a lot of people, and like, or that's the only option being presented at the very least, you know. But like you said, like I had a grandfather who died of cancer, and like he was getting old. He would have died anyway of something. You know, he's getting up there. But I think he could have had another 4 or 5 years if he hadn't underwent extensive chemo.
Yeah.
And I think that took his life force away a lot more than it would have preserved his life.
This is how I think of it. And this is what I relate it to. I relate it to aspartame. Okay? So, you have Kool-Aid that has sugar in it. They say sugar's not good for you, causes diabetes, all this other bullshit. So you take it out, and essentially you make sugar-free things, right? But you're replacing sugar, which is natural. Comes from the earth.
Yeah.
You're replacing sugar with a chemical that's a sweetener that has the word artificial in it, which causes behaviors in autistic people with autism. It causes cancer in anybody. I don't know exactly who. But, like, you take one thing away and you replace it with something that's bad for you. So, to me, it's like radiation. All right, so you're killing this cancer, but you're damaging the rest of your body.
Yeah.
And down the road, 10 years from now, how many people go back and end up with cancer?
You know what also does kind of amaze me is how much does knowing something causes cancer change people's behavior about it? Because, you know, like you're saying it,
cigarettes,
like,
though.
Yeah, well, yeah, like cigarettes is a big one, but like with the artificial sweeteners and things, like, even if people knew the consequences, like you said, with cigarettes, like, they don't give a fuck.
That is so funny to me,
like,
too, because, like, I still smoke cigarettes, and I have not quit yet. I haven't really cared enough to quit, I guess, but, like, obviously, you know that cigarettes cause cancer.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, I like to think that all the THC that I've consumed in my life has got me good, like, but
makes the cancer retarded,
you know what I mean? But, like, yeah, I'm gonna go out and smoke that pack of cigarettes today, but I'm not drinking that juice, that Crystal Light, I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
Fuck that aspartame, like, I'm not drinking that, but I'll smoke this whole pack of cigarettes.
Tommy Chong apparently treated his skin cancer with oil, like THC oil and like CBD oil, like just topically, am I saying that right? Topically rubbing it on it. And
what was that when Bob Marley got cancer in his finger? Excuse me.
Well, he was just smoking it. He was putting it in the wrong place. You gotta target that shit.
That's true. Just gonna bathe in the oil.
But yeah, like, back to like sustainability and things, like, I think that solves a lot of the problem. And like, I'm far from fucking, like, I'm guilty of it too, because like, how many memes have you seen of like, I absorb all the knowledge, but I don't like practice any of it? Like, you know, like, exactly. That's how most of us are. Like, we know all these things, but it doesn't really fucking though. Like the fast food thing. Like, I went to fucking McDonald's today. I got fucking a couple sausage fucking things. They were fucking amazing. I had a Whopper. Like, it was fucking, you know what I mean? But like, it's just, it doesn't.
Processed food is so bad.
What would it take for you to change? And I'm like.
A whole mindset change.
That's
me right
Isn't
now.
that weird?
That's depression for me. I don't know about other people.
So do you think, as far as like just a country, we're just depressed? like a 20, 30 year huge depression? I
definitely do. I think everybody lives in this false fucking country that claims, first of all, we have a holiday that we celebrate Christopher Columbus for murdering the Native Americans.
Okay, and well, that's a great thing to bring up, because
it should be called Happy Shanksgiving.
How long?
The fuck?
How, like, isn't that weird how that took a public turn, like a public perception turn? Because like when we were kids, up through what fucking I remember being
making those fucking
making turkeys and people still make, you know, paper turkeys and stuff, but like celebrating fucking Columbus Day, like, just like you're like,
it's a joke. That's a joke.
Yeah, but
because people don't know, because we live in a country full of people who don't know the actual history of our country, and that's myself included. Like, you know what I mean? That's everybody. We're an ignorant country.
And do you think that, like, for example, back in the day, people would look at Genghis Khan as evil because he went too. Yes. And obviously, like, they are, but right, but like, once emotion gets removed from these things, do you think someday people will look at like modern day, like once all the emotions removed, all the political things are removed, do you almost think that people will look back and just remember this is a time of like people just like almost like when Rome lost their empire, just like
right, and we're like, oh,
fuck.
I feel you.
Yeah.
But we don't care about that. You know what I mean? Like, we don't feel bad, empathize with them. I mean, in a way, yeah, I would empathize with anybody, but like,
and like
you know what I mean?
how will people look at like people like who's a polarizing fucking figure like I guess a Trump, like
I was gonna say Trump.
Once all the politics and emotion are removed, like so right now,
right,
you can't look at Adolf Hitler and say, look at all the scientific advances that the fucking Nazis made. Isn't that incredible that it helped us get to the moon?
Do.
Of course.
And I've offended people because I'm like, Hitler was a fucking genius. Like,
but
I don't mean
people,
that he's a good person. I mean, he's a genius.
People.
Evil genius.
Since emotion is so tucked into everything, like now people look back at Genghis Khan and they say, look at how many fucking nations he united. You know what I mean? Like, look at he was a cultural melting pot. He did this, and this. He united all these people, and like, but like exactly, he'd go and murder entire populations, rape, pillage, burn, fucking everything, and like,
there's cultures where that's normal too.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like, we don't believe that anything doesn't exist outside of our country. I feel like a lot of people, maybe it's just my opinion, but like, people don't know. You don't know what, like, unless you go travel the world, you can't even begin to understand how stupid we look, first of all, to everybody. When I lived in Sweden, I was literally insulted so many times for being American. Like, yeah, it might have been a joke, but it's not a joke because they really believe that. So, yeah. Like, I was criticized. I was asked questions about my religion. And, like, wow, you believe in God? Like, that's stupid. Like, we don't believe in God. The majority of people in Europe don't believe in God, supposedly. Well, at least in Sweden. I don't know. I heard in Europe in general. That's what my ex-boyfriend's mom told me. But, like, it was just bogus to me. Because I'm like, why are you going to sit here? And, like, first of all, I won't sit here and tell you that you're right or wrong. Like, don't sit here and tell me that I'm right or wrong. But, people are crazy. Ignorance.
Were you happy to move away?
Every time I did, yeah.
Every time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you keep calling me back?
Mm-hmm.
Damn. That's the same thing. Don't you keep hearing that about this area? Every time somebody moves away, they just have, like, one of the best times ever, but they, like, not always come back.
Well,
like,
I knew that. Like, I was on a visa, so it's not like I was going to live there forever.
Yes,
I could have,
yes.
like, that was the life that, like, we were building. Like, that guy thought he was going to marry me.
Mm.
But I broke his heart. So, like, that's a different story, but whatever. And we were young, so not to mention, I couldn't even imagine. Like, yeah, there's definitely perks to it. Like, their healthcare system is great. When he lived here, he got $13,000 personal loan per semester. Do you think our bills were paid? We were 19.
Yeah.
Now our bills weren't fucking paid. We spent it all on weed and juice. And Taco Bell.
Yeah.
I was so fat then, too. It was horrible. I remember sitting there eating Taco Bell all the time. I remember one night I was, like, thinking to myself, like, what is the last taco going to be? Like, what taco is going to push me over to the edge? Like, over the edge. That's so funny.
Did you learn a lot about yourself when you moved away? Just, like, not even necessarily, like, there, but, like, just in general?
Nope. Nothing.
Really?
Nothing. Other than I was homesick. I never learned anything about myself, really, until the last couple of years, after I did acid.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't blame it on acid.
I'm kind of surprised, because, like, for me, when I moved to Albany, just for example, like, just getting away from this area, like, just separating from that.
Potsdam didn't change me either. That was the first time I moved.
It almost felt like I was just in a different world, and I realized, like, you could live a different way. You don't have to be, like, tied down. Like, you can literally, like, this area is so old. I don't know how else to describe it. Just, like, so old-fashioned. Like, you can just live how you want. You can, like, you can essentially, like, build your life. You can, you don't have to, like...
I don't want to here, though. But it's just, like, I don't know. If I move, I want to move out of the country. where am I going to go?
Is that where you see yourself going, or do you?
I see the world ending, and I don't see myself going anywhere. And that's a fact.
You know,
really,
we were saying that earlier too, like the global warming, like
right?
How many? I don't know what you said, but you said you maybe
12
heard it somewhere. 12 years.
That's what I was told by somebody was telling me this, and it was somebody like I can't say whether I totally trust this person or not, but like I was told that basically some what's the word? What are the weather people called? Climatologists.
Yes.
Is that right?
Maybe.
Right.
Something along those lines.
I'm pretty sure it was something like a climatologist or something like that. Like somebody had been a weather man for years and he studied all the patterns and everything else. And he basically said that within the last 5 years, he doesn't know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
That's fucking scary.
I've read many reports and listened to many things, and like this guy Randall Carlson talked about the last ice age, and pretty much the global temperature change, I believe, was only 10 degrees in the last ice age. And that last ice age that had like thousands of feet of ice cover like half the continent and fucking wipe everything out, it only took, like, not only took, because like, but it just shows you like 10 degrees doesn't seem like much, but on a global scale, that is a lot of energy difference. You know, wiping out full species, like just leading, it literally led to mammoths like roaming the land, having their hind legs broken because such a mass of fucking ice, like, you know, fucking, and like just swarmed the planet. And like this would be that in reverse. This would be that flooding. This would be that flooding going the other way. Like it's just not good. And
the worst way to die, though, like I love the Twilight Zone. Old Twilight Zone.
The worst way to die.
Like, yeah, there's an episode, I can't remember what it's called, but like basically the world is getting so hot.
Yeah, I was just pointing to the sun. That's what I was gonna say.
Like the world, like that's a horrible way to die, I feel like, and like it's a brownout everywhere.
Have you thought about how you would want to, like, if you had to die? Like, I'm not saying like someone's torturing you, but like, say like the government decides tomorrow, hey Morgan, we're sorry, like it's been a great run, but tomorrow you gotta die, and you get to choose how you do it. How the fuck would you do it? Because like, well, like you said, like just thinking about like what's the worst way. Like I wouldn't want to drown. I wouldn't want to drown.
3 minutes at least. It
I
takes
wouldn't.
3 minutes to drown. Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind probably being shot or something to that effect.
Nope.
But you'd have to guarantee me that like
you're not gonna suffer.
Yeah, you gotta be a marksman. You gotta fucking hit me in the heart and the skull at the same time. I want to be done.
Yeah. No, I would want to take a whole bottle of something.
Something.
I'd want to poison myself or like die.
Yeah.
Like, to eat a whole bottle of drugs. Basically, that's just gonna put me to sleep, and I'm gonna die in my sleep that way. Not that I want to die in my sleep.
Yeah, I was only thinking about that just because like how horrible it must, like, well, really what sparked it in my mind was like the idea of people, like, I don't know who I heard talking about this, but like the idea of being in space, like if you were in space without a spacesuit, you would like burn from the behind, like freeze from the front, like all at the same time, and like your body, like your cells wouldn't know what to do essentially, and
I
like
feel like it would just poof.
You'd start like your cells would start like ripping themselves apart, like being, because like if these cells are frozen and these cells are like too hot and like there's like your blood's still in a way like trying to interact, like it would just cause cells to rupture all over your body, and like that would be awful. Yeah, that would be fucking awful. Like, and I wouldn't want to go like that, but like it. Like, there's so many awful ways to fucking die.
Yeah,
but like, I don't know.
wouldn't want to be buried alive, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
That would suck. Even being beheaded, though, like, the whole idea, like, that, like, think about it. If you think about it, being beheaded's probably the right answer, like, because it's, like, pretty sure you're done.
Cut off all your nerve endings, right?
Yeah, but there's that whole thing where, like, in not ancient times, but like in the 1700s or 1800s, whatever the fuck it was, when the French Revolution and shit was going on, there was a guy who, like, they said, hey, fucking blink as many times as you can, like, after we cut your head off, like, just to see, like, how long, you know, this goes. or it might have been a doctor or something. Maybe I'm misremembering this, but
it's like, I need my research.
It was something like 18 seconds. The guy kept blinking. So like even then, I
was
can't imagine.
Or anything? He couldn't be.
No, he couldn't be. But
right,
he could just
just
blink as many times as he could. And just thinking about that, like, oh my god, like that would be sensory overload. Like you wouldn't even know what to do.
Like
and now,
chicken with their head cut off.
Do you think? Not that there's souls, because like there's obviously something there, right? Like the mind, body, soul problem. Like there's something there. Mm-hmm. What do you think about? Do you think it weighs anything? Do you think it's a physical part, or do you think it's like more like a spiritual, like
what part?
Like a spirit,
mm-hmm.
like a spirit or a soul that like is in your body, essentially your life force. Mm-hmm. Do you think that has weight to it, like physical weight to it?
No.
Or do you think, like, for example, like, do you think there's like an electron or a cell at the helm of everything, or do you think it's more like what's your take on that? Like souls, what do you think they are in essence? Do you think they weigh something? What do you think they are?
I don't think they physically weigh anything. No.
Do you think it's almost like?
But I do think they are heavy.
Do you think they're
almost sense.
Locked in people's minds while they're alive? Would that be like a proper? And then like if you're dead, your soul
can chill out in limbo and not be attached to your physical dead body. I believe that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like if you have like a really bad life and you have things that are left unanswered and you have problems that were unresolved, if you died when you weren't supposed to necessarily, or even if you did and you just didn't resolve shit, like I definitely believe that your soul still fucking lingers. Yeah I do, because that's energy. You can't kill energy.
Yeah I
don't think you can kill energy. At least
I've thought about that a lot, like the idea of whether or not souls weigh something, and I've almost come to the conclusion. Well, there's been experiments where they try to weigh people at death. And apparently at death, your body loses mass. Not air, mass. Like, you literally lose mass. And, like, there's a lot of, chemical processes that could probably, explain that. But, like, and I used to think, like, the most plausible thing was that, like, souls were maybe, like, electrons. And the idea that, like, maybe you have one electron that's essentially glued to the back of your fucking brainstem that's in control of everything. Mm-hmm. If you suffer too much brain damage, if you damage those pathways, that's done. Like, you can't repair it. Or, like, maybe with, like, stem cells or something. But, like, as far as right now, you can't repair it.
Right.
And that's almost how I've thought about these things. And in that way, the idea of reincarnation and karma and all these things, because if you're on an infinite time scale, mm-hmm. and your soul's an electron, protons, neutrons, and electrons go through, like, their whole series of, like, star death, star birth, like, turning into different elements, mm-hmm. all these different things. So, given an unlimited time scale, electrons would popcorn around different beings. Right. In one life, you might be a squirrel. The next life, you might be a dog. Then you might be a fucking human. And it doesn't even have to occur on this planet or this time scale, because the fucking protons, electrons, and neutrons don't have anywhere to be. They're not going to disintegrate anytime soon. No. You could be an alien fucking 400,000 years from now.
Right.
But you could be, and I think that was pretty, I'm not saying that's what it is, but, like, it's plausible to me that, like, mm-hmm. electrons could be quote unquote souls, and, like, it would almost make sense that electrons are interacting with other matter just like they always do. Electrons are always fucking floating in and out of shit and fucking. Right. It would just be that on a larger scale. And I'm gonna wrap it up soon here, but, like, I thought about this too, just the idea of, like, patterns, like how easy it is to get yourself caught in a pattern, or like mm-hmm. not even just mentally, like traffic, for example. The idea of traffic is like if you think about it, like, there's so many little things where, like, you can get in an accident, or, like, little blips in the road, or people are, like, stopping and, like, whatever. But, like, once you're on the highway, or, like, in a stream of like traffic, it's like seamless. You don't even think about it. You can go hours at a time with driving and not even fucking put the slightest thought into it. Like people have driven on highways for like 6 hours at a time, and like, you know, it's almost like a form of like time travel, like mentally. So like that, and like too, just how easy it is to get in like mental patterns that you just don't like, or just like it's like flowing like a river, and it's hard to realize these patterns while you're in them. But if you look at them after you're out of the stream or out of whatever, it's like easy to analyze, but it's hard to see for yourself.
No, I feel
when you're stuck in these negative patterns. And
yeah, absolutely.
I just thought about that a lot recently. Is like, I wish I could just see the negative routes I'm taking, see the positive routes I'm taking, see the instant, I guess, analysis of like real time data of like how things are going. And like,
see, my thing is, I almost always know the things that I'm doing, if they're negative or not, and if they're gonna help me or set me back, and I just choose not to do the right thing. Like, that's just me right now. Like, there's been points in my life where I've had the willpower to be like, yeah, this is what I want, and I'm gonna go after it. But right now, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, that's where I'm at. Like, now it's about to be winter, so I'm just like...
Yeah.
I feel like, but... It's all about the mindset you're in. Because I can tell you all the great things that I can do in life. But right now, I can't do nothing.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I feel like sleeping, for example. I think sleeping is a good one. Like, fucking at night... Every night, like, I go to bed, like, tired as shit, thinking, like, all right, tomorrow I'm not fucking around. I'm getting my fucking 8 hours. And then, like, every day, something happens, and, you know, you end up getting, like, 4 or 5 shitty hours and fucking, like, tossing and turning, and then going and doing the same thing again. And it's just like, fuck.
It's a cycle.
Yeah, like, fuck, I wish I wouldn't have done that. Like, I wish I could have fucking seen how miserable I'd be right now. Fuck. But I feel like that with a lot of things. Like, even, like, entertainment, like sticking with shows too long that like you should have abandoned like seasons ago, just stuff like that, just stupid fucking like, damn, I thought this was contributing to my happiness, but it really wasn't. Like,
no, absolutely.
I wish I could just get instant analysis on that, or like analyze myself better, I guess, because like, you know, you look at your siblings, you look at your family, you look at like your, you know, friends, and you can see how they're doing, almost like if they're happy, if they're doing well, but you can't really tell for yourself. Like, I can't. But like you said, I know when I'm happy or not doing happy, or I know when I'm like depressed, but I can't always just like see what would make me better, like what would help me at the moment. And that I guess kills me, like not knowing what direction to go. And a lot of people have that problem. They don't really know.
If a lot of mine might just be that I think that I have to have all the answers because I'm hard on myself. So I'm just like, I just maybe automatically assume like, you know what you need to do, which I do. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I do. You could sit me down right now. I could be like, well, this is a problem, this is a problem, this is a problem. And I could tell you every solution to every problem that I have.
I feel like
does that mean that I'm going to choose to fix that right now?
Yeah. Well, I feel like the same way in the sense that like, I do know what I have to do on like a grand scale. Mm-hmm. But do you think almost the same way, like doctors or therapists wouldn't necessarily work on you because you almost think it's like okay. Yeah, it's like it's like okay, like,
no, I don't need your unbiased opinion of myself.
At best, I feel like I could be like a Tony Soprano type of character in that situation where like, yeah, I might try to learn from you. Mm-hmm. I might try to like learn what you have to say about me, but like, listen, Doc, you know what I mean? Like I'd like to think I could fix this, and I'm more intelligent than that. And almost in a way, I don't know if I told you this, and I think I did, but this is what we're gonna have with, because it is getting late, so I'm sorry about that. I'll let you go. But I had a friend one time who actually, like, he essentially convinced these doctors that he was crazy because he was so much smarter than them. Mm-hmm. I believe that. Like, he took this test, essentially, and he wasn't ready for the test. So he went in there like he did in the study, and he went in and he started looking at the test, and he's like, fuck, like I didn't prepare for this. So he went up to his teacher and tried to like get out of the test, and all he said was like, hey, I'm not feeling really well. Do you ever feel like you're just not supposed to be somewhere? I'm not supposed to be here right now taking this test. I didn't prepare for it, and started like, just pleading his case. Like, I'm not ready for this test, essentially.
Right.
The professor called for fucking security. And they got security down there, like, hey, man, we're going to walk you down to the fucking ambulance. We have an ambulance down there for you. We're going to get you a mental evaluation. They gave him a mental evaluation. And essentially, and I will tell you, like, I don't think I'm very smart. I know I can repeat a lot of information, that type of thing. This was one of the smartest kids I ever met, just intuitively. Like, I could explain things to him about cooking, science, math, just chemistry, just like advanced like concepts, like, and not too advanced, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not fucking,
yeah.
But he would just either know them or have a knowledge of them, and nothing would be far fetched. You wouldn't have to overexert yourself trying to prove yourself to him or explain things. Like, if he saw like it worked, it would, you know what I mean? Just a very smart kid. He said he fucked up because he started telling the doctors that they would think he's crazy. Pretty much like, listen, man, we think you're going nuts. Have you been on any serious drugs, like that type of thing? And he'd be like, no, I'm not crazy. This is what's happening. This is what's happening.
You sound pretty fucking crazy.
I went to take my test. I wasn't ready for it, so I thought that I had to come up with an excuse. So I went up to the teacher, and then I went to the teacher, and I came up with the excuse, and I fucked up, and I said 2 wrong things, and then now I'm down here walking to fucking talking to you guys because this happened. And so now you think I'm crazy because I'm here explaining myself about this situation that's not even a really big fucking deal, but you guys think it's a big deal. And in doing that, they fucking were convinced that this kid was absolutely nuts, and they fucking put him in a psych ward for like 2 weeks and fucking gave him all kinds of fucking medication that he said was awful, and he made him want to fucking die and kill himself until he fucking until he essentially like faked that he quote unquote got better, at which point like they released him. But like, just thinking about that just like the whole like being the smartest person in the room, and I'm not saying I am, but I can see where if you were around people that automatically just like had something against you or disagreed with you, like that's a very dangerous place to be. If you're not in a position of power, like that's a very dangerous place to be. Like you were saying, maybe
for some
that, but like in that, like
in a position of power in whose eyes?
Well,
because if it's in a position of power in my own eyes, which is everywhere I go, then nobody's got that power over me.
What I meant about a position of power is like, in that psych ward, these people could literally tell him, "You're not leaving for 2 months." Ha 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 ha, and laugh in his face that, "Hey, you're crazy. You're not leaving, and we're gonna inject you in a month." Yes, and that's what I mean about position of power is like, ultimately, this kid knew he was in the right. Like, he didn't do anything fucking wrong, but like, good luck explaining that to the 15 people that fucking work there that you're not the crazy one. It's them.
Exactly.
And
that's their job.
Yeah, exactly. That's their job, and I'm sure a lot of those people even agreed with them, but like, oh, if I disagree with you, now I got to go tell my boss that you're not crazy, and then they're gonna think I'm crazy. So fucking, that whole thing. It reminds me of who was it? Was it fucking the trial of what the fuck's his name? Philosopher Boy. What the hell's his name?
Philosopher Boy.
Yes, come on. It was like the trial of Socrates, where he was guilty and he knew he was guilty, but he essentially tried to like tell everyone they were too stupid, and like he proved the entire case to them in front of them, but in doing so, he made them so fucking pissed off that they wanted him dead anyway. So they fucking killed him, like shit like that. But like, that's a very dangerous place to be. Is to be the smartest person in the room, and it's not a dangerous place to be. It's a dangerous place to have other people know that you're the smartest person in the room, or to like, they feel intimidated. And a lot of people just don't even talk in like a lot of climates, like political climates, like dealing with like, just like anything they have any type of information about or like any type of opinion about, because they're not in a position of power. Like, my buddy got pulled over the other day, and I was in the car with him, and like, did nothing wrong, had like a sticker on his car, fucking, out or whatever. Fucking like ultimately ended up being nothing, like a misunderstanding. But like at the time, you know what I mean. You're pulled over, like fuck. And this cop was grilling him, and he's like, "I can see you smoked. You're acting nervous. I see smoke on the fucking windshield. All this shit, just like essentially making shit up."
Smoke on the windshield.
Yeah, and he goes, "Hey, like, does anybody vape in here?" He's like, "Oh, my sister vapes. This is her car." And it was, you know, people vape and the clouds on the fucking windshield get fucking crazy. Same type of deal. And he started like yelling, saying he was gonna call the canine unit and shit. Like he never did. He just fucking, you know, because then he's like, "Is there anything in the car?" It's funny because no, fucking asshole. Like, go ahead, call him. Yeah, call him. But the fact that we weren't in a position of power there, like we couldn't even like essentially defend ourselves. Like, no, dumb fuck. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's all it is, and it almost turned into something just because like this guy had something to prove before the fact. Like,
right.
Oh, and I guess this will be the last thing because I forgot to mention this. Nurchie's got robbed today. Nurchie's on Taft.
One of my good friends works there. A couple of my good friends work there.
Me too. That's crazy. Like I didn't hear, you know, like the inner details about it or whatever. But
my girl Casey was there, and I heard that. Well, my friend Billy actually works with me where I work, not the same place, but a different house, and he works at that Nurchie's on the side. And luckily he wasn't there, but I just found out like not too long ago.
Yeah.
A couple hours ago. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's one of my friends. His family like owns the thing, and like so like I haven't fucking, you know.
My question was like,
about it yet, but
out of all the places you could have robbed,
honestly,
Nurchie's.
This is my thinking on it.
In the middle of a day on a Monday.
This is my thinking on it because of that. It must have been a day where either they were getting a delivery or doing a delivery and exchanging some type of money, or it was just like some, like, you know what I mean? Like you said, why would you target it if it's not a fucking high volume, like, place? Like, people fucking rob loopholes all the time and shit. Well, one, it's right across the street from a fucking police station, so, like, that's a bad fucking idea. But two, like, well, for loopholes, it's because they only accept cash. And I'm sure that's a reason for the pizza place, too. High volumes of cash. Mm-hmm. But, like you said, like, compared to like a real fucking or like, you know, even robbing somebody's house for like things of value, like what the fuck, why are you gonna fucking
exactly,
because now you're looking at what, 9-10 years, like if you like for what
exactly
for the $45 for the $45 you fucking got from the two poor girls working behind the register that fucking, you
already owe your family that in commissary at this point.
But that's just nuts, man. All our fucking everywhere that shit happens. Billis gets. I mean, that's a sketchy, you know, area in general over there. But like, that's just getting crazy. And I mean, locally they have like car break-ins and stuff like that. But like,
what's that? I heard today dudes be snatching women up and put them in their cars.
Locally.
In Endicott.
What?
Yeah, somebody told me that today. I said, I bet.
That's crazy. I did hear. I don't know how, you know, far away it was. It was in the local news, but you know, I don't know like what actual county it was in. But there was like a sex trafficking thing, so I don't know if that's related. But like, yeah, like somebody was abducted and they were like sex trafficked for like a couple of years or something like that, and then that trial was going on like, you know, today or this week or something. But wow, I just like like I'm glad nobody was hurt or whatever, but I don't think anything came of that yet, right? And then
I was wondering if that guy got caught. Somebody said that they assumed that he did, but I don't know.
And then that's another thing. If you do get away with it, you must be shitting bricks every second of your fucking day.
Yo.
Like, imagine, like I know, like when I was a kid and I did something wrong, and like you want to like avoid your parents almost, how guilty you feel, like, and like
I didn't avoid. I always was up their ass when I knew I did something wrong, so I know.
Oh my god! Sometimes
if I was there, I was just like, oh well, if I'm here with them, I'm gonna know if they find out. Like, you know what I mean?
When I was in first grade, I fucking beat this kid up because like I didn't really beat him up. That's not like, it wasn't like that. It was like we were in first grade. You know what I mean? I like tackled him on the playground or something, and like I didn't tell my parents, and like actually it was with I think your friend Andrea. Her brother Doug at the time. That kid, that was my best friend in first grade.
You know Andrea?
I knew her.
Her brother killed himself.
Yeah.
That guy.
That was my best friend in first grade. That kid. Doug. Yeah, so this was in first grade in Clayton Avenue, Elementary School. Fucking
Barish.
Yeah.
Andrew Barish.
Yeah. So Clayton Avenue Elementary School, fucking like I was home watching Scooby Doo, and like I knew that like I did something wrong. Like I just tackled this kid, and like it wasn't a big deal. But we got called to the principal's office, and they were asking me like a bunch of fucked up questions, like, "Does anybody beat you up at home?" Just like this, you know what I mean? All dramatic. And like, I'm a little kid, so I'm like, no. They're like, do you like getting beat up? I'm like, yeah, I like getting beat up. You know, just saying shit like that. Yeah.
Beat up.
Well, yeah, because they were trying to say like, well, put yourself in this kid's shoes. Do you like getting beat up? And I'm thinking like, this kid's a pussy. Like, fucking, like, you know what I mean? Like
fuck you thought.
But
fuck you thought.
So I didn't tell my parents about it, and I remember like I was watching Scooby Doo, and like they got the mail, and they got a letter in the mail from the fucking school, and I was only in first grade, and it was said like a bunch of shit like that I had said, and like the quotes that I had said, and like all that. I got fucking reamed out. But Doug went home. He went home and he told his family about it right when it happened, so he didn't get in any trouble. And that was like the lesson. Like, if you would have just told us about it, it wouldn't have been a big thing. But now that you didn't, I fucking couldn't watch, like, whatever for a long time. That shit was so fucking traumatic. Like, that taught me so fucking much. Do you have any quick little stupid lessons or anything like that? Like, did you learn not to fuck with anybody at a certain point? Or, like, did you learn, like, oh, fuck? No?
Not really.
Like,
not really. I mean, I still test all the things that I guess I know I shouldn't fuck with. Authority in general.
Yeah.
But I've never been arrested.
I remember one time, this kid in Albany, he was like a 7-foot tall kid. His name is Tom Crizzet, and this kid is literally like 7'2". Like, he's just one of the tallest kids I ever saw. Like, everyone used to go up to him and be like, "You're tall." He's like, "Yeah, I fucking know I'm tall." Like, get fucking really pissed. Fucking, it's like, dude, I don't know what you expect people to say. Like, you're actually fucking tall as shit. Like,
right.
Like, but we were downtown once, and like, I didn't really hang out with these kids much. They were like a couple years older, but like, I was like a freshman, and I go out, and there was cops, like, and they used to ride their horses in Albany, like literally ride their horses down the street, like, and try to intimidate people and shit. And they used to have like big spotlights to fucking break up parties and shit.
Oh my god.
And we're going down the street one time, just like literally sitting there, like waiting for the bus stop. And fucking this kid, Tom, the tall kid was being a smartass. He yelled something like, "Fuck you, pig," to the cop. This cop turned around off his horse, got up off his horse, went and screamed in this kid's face, goes, "What the fuck did you say? You want to go to jail tonight?" And like grabbed him by the shirt. And this kid's like, "No, officer, I swear to God. No, I swear to God, I'm so sorry." And it was hilarious. But at the same time, like you said, he learned that day, like, fuck, like, and I don't think, is the officer on the right there? No. But you also have to realize that, like, he, like, I go back to the quote unquote position of power thing, but like that kid, man, that was not your fucking hill to die on. No. Like, you fucked up. Like, you picked an angry officer for no reason, and now you're gonna have to fucking deal with that. Like, nothing ended up happening, but like, and I remember this, I know I keep going on and on, but this other kid, Sean Sweeney, he was one of my really good friends in like elementary school. One time, like, I think this was like 7th grade, he came in one time and his face was all cut up from like forehead to chin. He fucking fucked with this dog and it bit his face up like really bad. And like, just like, and you know, that's not really his fault either, I guess, like, because this neighbor's dog just like attacked him. But don't fucking, you know, just like, don't be anywhere near fucking other people's animals or like shit like that. Yeah, just like, I scratched my back one time jumping in the pool. Like, I jumped in this, like, it wasn't a kiddie pool, it was an above ground pool, but I scratched my back like a good fucking 16 inches right down the fucking middle of it. And I didn't need stitches, but it was one of those times where like it was like close to needing stitches. You just kind of put the skin together and hope it fucking works. And do you have stitches? Any stitches? Nope. I have a J on my chin. When I was in 3rd grade, a pogo stick went right through my fucking thing, and I had to get fucking plastic surgery, and it's just like a fucking,
I might have had stitches.
A J there.
Years ago. Like when I was a baby.
Yeah.
Because I had a hernia.
Okay, I can imagine.
So probably, yeah, I would never. Since then.
No, you had to be put under for that.
Yeah, I mean, I was just like whatever they could do to a baby. Like I was just born.
Okay.
So when I had a hernia, so they cut my muscle then, and I still have a scar from it.
I think they thought I had a hernia when I was like, I think I told you about this already, like way back, but and essentially they had this doctor that wasn't a real doctor. He was like the doctor's assistant. He was convinced that I had it, so they used to bring me in and like fucking give me X-rays and do all this shit and like what the fuck is like when they roll the jelly on your fucking shit? What?
Ultrasound.
Yes, I don't know why I couldn't think of it, but it was an ultrasound and the other one too. Like there's a couple different types of waves that they fucking run you through and like all this shit and like, and it turned out to be like nothing. And like the day before my surgery or like the 2 days before, like yeah, they called my house and they were just like, never mind. But like
we had the wrong person.
That was so traumatic for me. Like I think it would have been less traumatic having the surgery because then it would have been like, okay, like it happened, you know what I mean? Like you didn't worry for nothing, but it's like, okay, now that's just away, like that's gone, like that was just a waste. But
yeah, you'd be more paranoid, I feel like, because it's just like, all right, what now?
Yeah,
you gave me all this fucking anxiety for nothing.
Well, that's it for now. Thank you everybody for listening. Until next time.